speak on the topic of World Literacy Day. Over to you, sir.
Fantastic, Shamla. That's a great introduction. I think you went through my LinkedIn profile and captured all the words from there. So good.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir. Thank you
Very
so
good.
much.
Thank you. Fine. So thank you for having me here. And first of all, happy Onam to everybody. Happy Onam. I hope you guys are having fun. I'm sure it's not a holiday for many people as we are working at Accountify, so it looks like it's an optional holiday. So other people are also maybe working at this point of time. So let's start and talk about World Literacy Day. Any idea what it is, why you are celebrating, and who's celebrating? Anybody? If not, I can say basically this is done by UNESCO. It was started about 50 years ago in 1996, and this date was selected to be able to celebrate the World Literacy Day. And the important, why was it even taken? I mean, why was it even an important point to be considered is because education plays an important part in our roles. It's a matter of human right. It's about dignity. It helps you to widen your scope and learn better things. And from 1966, from where India stood, or if you look at the global world as such, I mean, our literacy rate was very, very low. I mean, it was hanging around 35 to 36% at that point of 1996. Now it's about 75%. So we've come a long, long way from where we stood. And UNESCO also understood that UNESCO stands for the United Nations, and they've understood that it's important that the World Literacy Day is celebrated so that people can increase their values, increase their need awareness, and their education can help them be a better person. And it's also a matter of human right. So if you are able to learn and read, you will definitely do better in your life. So as of now, there are about 750 million adults in the world which are illiterate, and the bad thing about it is there are more than about 50% of them are female gender who are illiterate, and this has a huge impact because if you are illiterate, you are you're not promoting goodness in the world. There are a lot of you will what happen is if there are a lot of literacy, it will definitely improve the economy. It will help promote the gender equality. There will be a lot of democracy and peace. People will be able to understand each other's cultures. They'll be able to integrate or interact with each other in a better manner. And it's also about the overall quality of life. So these are the important things why literacy is required at this point. And as I said, there are still about 9 to 10% of the world population which are illiterate. And prima facie, there are 3 regions where the literacy is very, very high. One is Africa. A lot of the African countries, illiteracy is very high. And at the same point, you have the Asian countries and South American continents countries as well, where the literacy is very, very high. So what we can see is there is a clear, there's a clear notion where development countries and literacy goes in hand. Most of the developed countries like Germany, France, United Kingdom, USA, Sweden, they've got a very, very high literacy rate. And you can also see that the economies are very strong. You can see the per capita income of the people, they're very strong. So that's the reason why the countries like Africa and other countries are suffering because of the illiteracy, which is very high. And they are not able to make the right decisions. They are not able to understand between good and bad. And they're not able to improve their life as such. So, and these are some of the reasons why UNESCO said, okay, let's establish 8th September as a International Literacy Day. And it was done in October 26, 1966 as such. In India, I think, first of all, we should be proud to say that BCCRU as such are following the UNESCO's 17 sustainable goals, which includes quality education for all. And with more than 1,500 people working in BCCRU at this point of time, and more than 60% or 65% being women folks, BCCRU has done a great job in terms of implementing the sustainable goals, working on those goals, and imparting. It's not right to say that we are imparting the education at this point in time, but helping the female gender increase the quality of their lifestyle, the living, by giving them a good opportunity in terms of employment. So what happens is, if you are employed, you get far more better salary than a person who's doing unemployed or unskilled work. And that means when you're getting a higher education, a higher salary, you are able to use that money for the family, for the betterment of the family, providing education to your kids and children. So that way, I would be happy to say that this has come a long way. And what is also interesting is the fact that the divide between rural India and urban India. The literacy rate in India is 75% at this point of time. Guys, am I clear at this? Am I any?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir. You can carry on.
So the literacy as such is about 75% in India, and the divide between the rural India and urban India is very high. In urban India, the literacy rate is 85%, but in rural India it's only 70%. And of that 70%, the highest literacy rate are in various states like Bihar, Tripura, the northeast region, Uttar Pradesh and all. In South India like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, we have very high literacy rate, and the government has done a great job in terms of, I think, making sure that there are free meals in schools. There are, the fees are very much subsidized, which helps a lot of people to go. So because of various initiatives of the government in Tamil Nadu, also the literacy rate here is extremely low compared to the northern India. And it's very proud to say that one of our neighboring states, Kerala, have got a literacy rate of 99%, with highest literacy rate among women. So I think we should also achieve that. At this point of time, we should also achieve to get highest literacy rate as much as possible. And at Desi Crew, we also do a lot of other interesting things. We there are a lot of courses available, which upskilling right from basic machine learning, Python, cloud computing, bot, English skills. A lot of people have done the English 101, 201, and 301 at this point of time, and they've tried to converse as much as possible and get better at it. So literacy is all about having the basic knowledge of writing, reading, and being able to communicate your ideas and thoughts with other people. And with these upscaling, programs or like for English and things like that, it's definitely helping. And I've seen some remarkable results. I've had the opportunity to go into the DC Summit in the month of August, and I could see the confidence level of people, the ability to speak, converse, and put through their thoughts was remarkably good. So I think definitely you should guys take part of these programs and upscale yourself, and ensure that you are helping the society or others to improvise the literacy rate as much as possible. So yeah, so that's where we stand. Desi Crew has done a great job in terms of helping people to upscale. At the same time, we are part of the UNESCO 17 Sustainable Goals. And the question is, why is it necessary to upscale? Why is it necessary to be literate? Anybody, any thoughts? Why do you think it's important to be literate? What are the thoughts on that? Anybody? Subhakar, Shamla, Srilekha, Karthik, Bhavya, anybody?
Maybe
What do you think?
to understand better what others are doing, like to understand the current updates, or maybe to easiest way to communicate with other countries, something like that.
Okay. So communication is one, but my thought is, what would be the difference between an illiterate person and a literate person from a lifestyle or economic value perspective? Any thoughts?
I think little person will understand better and smart way.
Okay.
It's my thought. Like.
Okay. Fine. Anybody else? There are so many people here. Anybody else would like to contribute?
Yeah, Pritesh.
Yeah,
Arun
sir.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think the literacy part is very simple. Like humans are born for a reason, transfer of knowledge. So one generation to generation, we transfer knowledge and make sure that everybody is updated with what's happening at the current decade, or it happens that way.
Absolutely.
So I feel that the literacy part is very important. Where as you said, like Desi Crew, we just had an example. An employee who was just The father is a truck driver, but she's come here. She studied well. She's coming and working in TN Palayam Center. And now imagine what happens to her kids. They come into the future. They will be like upscaling themselves. So I think literacy plays a major part in these kind of knowledge transfers from one generation to another.
Absolutely. Good. Definitely knowledge transfer, because if people come from a background like truck drivers or others where they never had the formal education, but people now, the second generation is doing it. So it will be easier for the third generation or the fourth generation to have a better economic life. Now consider the jobs that we are getting. We are doing jobs for US market, the UK market. We are working with a lot of companies in the northern India portion, and we are able to do that. If Tamil Nadu, for example, or the south region did not have that basic education, do you think Desiku will be there in Tamil Nadu? Do you think our business model will ever work?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So, the boom that happened after 1991, after the opening up of the globalization and things like that, it happened because we had a fantastic literacy rate. I think the government did a great job. And that's why a lot of jobs came to India. The per capita income, which was less than $200 or $300, has gone up to $1,500 for a billion people. And that's all because of education. And that's why countries like Africa, countries like South American country, they have a lot of resources. Resources are plenty, natural resources, but they do not know how to monetize it. They do not have the right education to impart and increase their lifestyle at the point.
True, Pritesh. Yeah.
So, what are the challenges, do you think it's there for countries like India when they want to improvise or increase their literacy rate? What do you think are the biggest challenges?
I think, Pritesh, the basic thing is, like as you said, like urban and rural. Their approach towards studies are very different.
Okay.
One more thing which affects the literacy itself is the educational system itself. We go by the marks. So I'm not being a devil's advocate here, but yet that's the truth. Okay. Because Montessori kind of vocational, those educational systems are there. Yet we are going by a grade system or mark system. So very few are able to do it, or a cream of people are able to do it. And in rural area, I see with especially girl students, they study very well. They get good marks, engineering, IT, everything they study, but they get married without even able to show their ability somewhere to work or do it in a different way. So this is what I have seen, in my opinion.
Okay,
practical things.
I think one, you're talking about the education system. Literacy is more than the education system because they're able to read and write. I would say the biggest challenge literacy cannot achieve is because there is a fight between survival and education. There is a limited amount of income that every family is making. Do you use it for your daily food and basic survival, clothes, food, medicines, or use that money for education? It's like a vicious cycle. Because you have enough money to feed the family, you are not giving them education. Because you don't have education, you are not getting a better job. So it's like, which comes first? Is education comes first, takes importance, or is it the food or the basic survival instincts that takes the thing? So I think that's one big challenge. Second, the gender discrimination. Women folks as such, they say they are the cradle for the next generations to come. If they have a better education, they will be able to teach better in terms of, the next generation. They are the ones who are imparting the values, and everything. Not that father doesn't do, but they say the cradle for the next generation. And India as such has always been discriminatory in nature, where it's only in the last 15 years or 20 years where women folks have participated in the education system as much as possible, which was not there in the last 20 or 30 years. And that's the second reason, which was one of the highest reasons for illiteracy in India, and the gender bias. And I would say the third thing would be a lot of children of the family, and they have to earn to be. There was a instance where you'd have 4 or 5 children in the family, and they all used to do farming and be the general breadwinner for survival. Getting the literacy rate high was wrong, and that's why the government plays an important role. The midday meal scheme that the Tamil Nadu government has adopted. I'm not propaganda Tamil Nadu government or anything, but from a policy perspective, the government has to play an important role. Having a subsidized, education system. All this, like now AAP in Delhi, they seem to be doing a great job. They say that the government schools are also at par with the other education, so it's helping people to join and be part of the system. If not, everybody cannot, they cannot have the money or they cannot afford the education as such. So I would say these are some of the 3 or 4 reasons why the literacy is high in India, and I think it's changing. It's definitely going. And the way things are, they are saying by 2050 or 2055, 15, 20 years from now, India will be a highly literate rate with more than 90-95%, which is a great thing to have, because our population is also growing at a faster rate. So having more than 1.2 billion people or 1.6 billion people and having a high literacy rate will be fantastic, is my thought. So these are some of the tidbits I had for literacy. It started with UNESCO. It's important that we teach. There is a lot of things that DCQ or as individuals we can do. If we have time, we can sponsor Women Child. If you have the funds available to make sure that somebody's getting literated, or if you have time, you can be a teacher. Spend some time with the schools, nearby schools, or things like that, to impart time education. So even if 10 hours, it can be a part of your CSR activity. I don't know if we have some kind of CSR activity here, but if you can have that also, that will be a great thing. So yeah, that's it. I had about 15-20 minutes to highlight on key areas on literacy, but I'm happy to answer your questions or take anything else as well.
Hi, Pritesh.
Yeah. Hi, Karthik. Yeah.
Pritesh, is there any parameter through which a literacy rate can be assessed in different countries? Say, for example, in the earlier generation, people who are past 8th standard, so they can consider as literate people. So is there any standard?
UNESCO says anybody who can read and write and speak are considered literate at this point of time. Class and standards are not been defined at this point of time, because every country has a different education parameter. The schooling system or the college systems are different. So what I have read or understood from UNESCO is anybody who can read, write, and converse is considered. Srilekha, anything from you? Anybody else?
Hi,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, carry on, Bhavya.
Yes, sir. Actually, this question is not about like totally literacy. So actually, I am a CA aspirant
Wow.
a year ago, but so because of the vast knowledgeable, as it is a very toughest course, I feel sorry to say this because I quitted CA and I chose CMA instead of that. So actually, totally,
Where are you from, Bhavya?
I'm from Arakonam, sir.
Oh, Arakonam. Okay.
So I've studied in Nungambakam.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sir. So, yes, sir. So I felt so tough, and I came to the conclusion that only the toppers should choose these courses, whether it is based on their mind capacity or about their memory power, or how can I I'm really confused about choosing these courses and also recommending these courses to my friends and juniors. They will keeping on asking about the choosing courses to me. So can you please tell me about that, sir?
Okay. First thing, if I can become a CA, anybody can become a CA. There is no.
Sir, any guess why this should you?
Yeah, because I have done CA. That's why they are asking me that question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But simple rule of
When
thumb
we
is,
said like you're from that background,
yeah.
many
Rule
people
of thumb
waited
is,
for the question.
rule of thumb is, if I can do CA, anybody can do. I was not the smartest person in my class. I can surely tell you, I was never I did pass CA, but I was not like a gold medalist or anything. So if I can do anything, the second thing is only thing is having a smart plan, being consistent and working hard. I think these are the 3 important things I would say. It is tough. Everything is tough in life. If you are able to plan smartly in terms of what are the areas that needs you're weak in, what are your strengths, if you can understand for each. For me, commerce was always a very subject. Taxation was a subject I could understand. It was always a gray area, but accounts, maths and all came to me easily. So then I used to make sure I spend more time in areas where my weaknesses were. Definitely worked harder. I've burned midnight oils, 16 hours, 18 hours, 19 hours, sleepless nights. So hard work also plays a role. Third, having a good friend who can be with you. I used to have a system where two people both used to work together.
Okay, like a combined study.
Not combined, but yes, we used to tell what we achieved with each other, what are the problems. So that kind of helped in terms of understanding the thing. But fair enough, Ashwant was not that person. If you give wild guesses, Ashwant, he was not that person. But there was somebody else, and he was with me in UK. He was an English guy basically, but anyway. So English or non-English is not important, but yeah, we helped each other, and that's how we worked through it.
Okay, sir. And one more thing is, in this journey, we should make sure that we are like ready enough to accept the failures, right? We couldn't see the success continuously.
It's impossible. I failed 2 papers also. So
okay.
I failed by 1 mark or something like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people. I have friends. Luckily, I completed, but there are people who had 4 attempts, 5 attempts, and they cleared. In fact, I'll tell you a story. I used to teach to CA students. One of the teachers himself had done about 3 attempts, and after that he cleared the paper. So it's nothing to do with nothing to do with the fact that you will win first time. You'll have to keep going.
Okay.
And, yeah, I know CA is very tough, definitely tough, but have a good circle of friends and understand your weaknesses and work on that.
Sure, sir, sure. So we should prepare our mind.
No TV, no social media, no going out. I was in my room day in, day out for hours and hours and hours. Only me. Sometimes I would not see my family also. That's how it was.
Okay, so the main focus should be on studies, and hard work is main, right?
Yeah, nothing takes away that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, and one more final small question. So, there are 3 courses like in this professional side, right? CMA, CA, and CS. So, which is best to choose, sir?
This is about literacy, so maybe we can converse about it later. This is more of a personal question than a literacy question, but
okay.
I can.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering. Thank you so much.
Anything else? Anybody? Any questions?
Yes, I would like to ask a question to you. I want to ask about the literacy. How this literacy would helpful in rural India, especially in Desi growth, which laid its foundation in rural areas to empower and educate.
Okay. What are your thoughts? Shamla, how long you been with Desi growth?
Yeah, I have been, this is my 4th month.
4th month.
So, yes.
Where are you from, Shamla?
I'm from TN Palayam Center, sir. This is also from village side.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts?
My thought is that it is a kind of empowering the woman skill because it is giving opportunity there.
Okay.
And this kind of AI, ML automation works and all would come in city side, but this facility made us very better to feel like that we could also do even from the village side.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the very first thought which comes into my mind.
Good. I think you've answered your own question. First is we've got more than 1,400, 1,500 people with more than 60, 70, 65% are women folks. And they say women are the cradle for the next generation. Considering if you're educated enough, you will always take the opportunity to make sure that the next generation is also getting as much education as possible. Plus, with the salary ranges which will be higher than the unskilled labor as such, you'll always have some money in hand available to balance between needs and the money that can be saved for education. And at the same point, with the globalization that has happened, a lot of these jobs have come to Chennai, Pune, others, and DCGRU is taken to next level like TN Palayam, Villupuram, Kulmangudi. And you, at the end of the day, you guys have shown that you can learn anything at this point of time. With your hard work and dedication, you can learn. And whatever AI, ML, or whatever the buzzwords are, or whatever the complexities are, with your dedication and hard work, you can help it. And that's the main reason that DCGRU is existing at this point of time. And with more employments that you would like to create, or even at Accountify, we would like to hire more people in rural India. I'm sure the economic, the economic life cycle will increase, which will help to give better education to the generations coming forward. Is my thought.
Hi, Pritesh, this is Mani here.
Hi, sir.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
So, see, we talking about literacy rates. I think someone asked you a question also earlier.
Yes, sir.
Of course, China is better than India in many aspects, but especially in literacy also,
Yes, sir.
they are close to 100%, 97, 98 kind of percentage, right?
Okay.
So now, while there is an urban-rural divide and so on and so forth for India, one of the things which we wanted to do, I mean, we're still in the progress. I don't know whether we are anywhere near this. Given the fact that we have made the DCGRU model possible only because we are riding on the literacy already. We didn't create any literacy in TN Palayam or any other place.
Absolutely.
Right? Because people were already educated, this model even became possible.
Absolutely, sir.
But isn't this time, we're now 15 years old, right? Isn't it time for us to look at, forget the country, forget the state, our own villages. So if I'm coming from Perelam or if I'm coming from somewhere near Gobi, shouldn't our DCGRU teammates look at their own villages and say, what is it that I can do to make the literacy 100%, at least in my village? We've tried doing this in something like a DC charter. I know all the new guys wouldn't have even heard of it, but old guys already forgotten. We are trying to revive that during our DC at 15. But I just wanted to understand from you, who was one of the leaders, because it's not at the cost of your job. You do whatever you need to do. You need to fight hard for your tasks. But since we have taken advantage of something which already existed, isn't that time for us to think on those lines?
I think it's a definitely right thing to do, sir, because yes, we had the opportunity because there were people who had the basic literacy level available, and we took the opportunity. I think as DCGRU, we should have some kind of a CSR, as you talk about the DC charter, where small teams can be formed, or people in can be formed, or they can work together and they can go to local schools or anything like that and see if basic education can be imparted, or some kind of financial monetization can be given to people who are of a various low category where they're not able to do it. And if that can become a part of our CSR activity also, that would be really, really good. And I personally believe that this should be something we should implement aggressively as part of our DC 15 activity also, sir.
Okay, sure, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Anything else?
Yeah, Pritesh, Arun here again. See, just wanted to know, you have studied abroad, right? How does it differ from India? I don't know whether you did your schooling there. Definitely would have done your college there. So, just wanted to know, what is the difference you see between there and here? How does it make?
Hey, Arun, Ashwant here. I just want to add a corollary to your question. So, Pritesh,
Okay.
you worked in. Thanks. Sorry for barging in, but Pritesh, you worked there, like Arun said. Let us know a little bit about your colleagues, in terms, because your peers with whom you're working there and here at DCGRU.
Okay, sure. First, I will answer Arun's question in terms of what is the big difference. I think the big difference from, yes, there's a slight difference in the education system as well. As you get into the masters, there are a lot of things you have to do yourself. There are a lot of researches, projects, and other things that you'll have to do. So it's not like in India, have to have an 100% attendance or things like that. There are classes you have to definitely attend those classes, but if nobody's going to come and ask you, even if you don't attend, so a lot of self-learning is done. But the most important difference I felt is the peer group as such. You had an opportunity to work or discuss your thoughts, idea with people who are from China, from India, from Netherlands, from Germany, from Korea. The kind of an international culture that you had, it helps you open the mind or helps you think about the same problem from a different angle. Every culture has its own way of doing things. I did a lot of projects with a lot of Russian friends. We used to play badminton together with them also, and I used to do a lot of projects. So the way they used to work was different from what we used to work, how they solved problems. So that the peer group as such, or the ability to interact with a lot of other countries, that is what I think makes a huge difference. I know education, yes, the styling and the learning system is different, but I would definitely say the peer groups makes a lot of the difference. That's one. And Ashwant asked, talk about the peer group experience when I worked in PwC. At PwC, it was a very, 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 very competitive, cutthroat environment as such. All the people were either gold medalists or on the top of the top 3, top 5 ranges. So it was really, really tough. And you really had to be on top of things to make sure there. But at the same time, very open culture of helping each other. People used to, if you have a problem, you could go to anybody. There was no hierarchy as such. The system was very open in nature. You could go to anybody, right from a partner to anybody else in the top of the organization, ask the question. That was a very eye-opener. There was no sir, there was no mentality of why are you coming to me or doing things like that. And at the same time, it was very, very healthy competition. People were working long hours, trying to solve problems, and they were also helping with each other in terms of finding solutions. And I think that was also a great blessing that I learned from there. And we're trying to do that at Quantify also as much as possible. Have a very open culture, coaching, having a nice peer group to make sure we are helping each other as much as possible.
So Pritesh, again, you came to Kullu recently,
Yeah.
and you saw the team and the presentations. What would be your suggestions for improvement? From a leadership level.
I've been, to be very honest, Ashwant, I gave this feedback to Manish sir when we were traveling back. When I joined in 2019 to 2022, I see a huge difference in terms of the leadership people that we have at Desi Crew. I personally felt that people were more open. They were ready to challenge you. They were ready to question you and ask you which directions we are moving in terms of Desi Crew's perspective, and they were ready to learn and embark on a new journey. And they were also ready to express themselves more, which when I attended the 2019 summit in Viluppuram or things like that, I felt we had to converse with people and ask them questions what is required, which was a huge difference. And I believe from a talent perspective, Desi Crew is going in the right direction. We've been acquiring a lot of talents from outside. And at the same time, with the COVID, people have been, I believe that they've been talking a lot with each other in Zoom and other things. So it has helped them to communicate better and express themselves. So I believe we're definitely going in the right direction. In terms of improvement, it's hard to say improvement, but I would say these summits or whenever they are having, we should have more activities for people of the DC leaders so that they can express myself more, and we'll be able to understand what are the things that's going to the mind and what are their abilities also. And even like in 45, when you presented the bots, people were able to understand and visualize what the bots were doing. They were able to understand how viewers work, and they were asking a lot of questions. So yes, it was very amazing to see that.
Thank you. Sorry, Arif, nobody's asking. I have one more question.
Yes.
Pritesh, a little bit on the work-life balance, right? And in terms of number of hours you clock at PwC or the number of hours you're clocking at Accountify.
Okay.
I'm sure the time is there, the stress is there, but how is the work-life balance maintained?
Okay. I think I'm at a different age point at this point of time, which I was in PwC. So one biggest difference was I used to work like easily 60 to 70 hours a week, or even more. 15 hours, 14 hours was a normal cycle for 3.5 years, or even 8-9 years of my life. I've worked about 14 to 16 hours every day at this point of time. But that grilling was really important. It helped me to be shaped a better accountant, I would say, in terms of the working perspective. But at Accountify, luckily, considering a business that I also work crazy hours. I do a couple of things, but I'm able to flex myself. I'm able to understand the kind of hours how I want to spend. Like even if I'm doing this for 5 to 6, I can go back home, start my work again at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, get reviews done with my team, or start early at about 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock and work and get things done. So I have the more flexibility in terms of how I work. Yes, the number of hours have considerably been different to what it was. But the key parameter for me is that I have the ability to flex and work on my own time, which I didn't have when I was in PwC. But yeah, it was first 8-9 years was easily about 70 to 80 hours a week. Okay, anything on literacy? Anything, guys, on literacy, and how? Any thoughts on how everybody who come on the show, can add value to Desi Crew or do something different for your villages or the places that you are? Any thoughts on that? Anything that you would like to do or take away or think that you will do as such to be a better person? I was a teacher also, so I used to teach, but for monetarily. But anything, guys, you guys at Desi Crew planning to do? Would like to hear that.
Yeah, Pritesh, already I am doing it at my house. Like we have our 7th lady. Her kid is studying around 10th.
Cool.
So there are her friends who are speaking English.
Okay.
So initially they had trouble, and a couple of kids actually quit the school because of English.
Mm-hmm.
So I told the 7th lady that please bring those kids, and weekly once we have a class at home, like 1 hour or 2 hours whenever they are free. So Sundays we share that basic things, not big deals. Their textbook, how to read it, understand what is English. So those kind of simple things we are doing. Me and my
even at
wife
10th
together.
standard, are they struggling with basic English, Arun?
Yes. That's why I asked you, like, what is the big difference between there and here? See, that's a mother tongue for them, English. But here, English is becoming they see it as a mountain.
Okay.
Because the person who's
all the books are in Tamil. Yeah.
So Tamil, they are well versed. They are doing it good. But English, it is taking a time for them.
Okay. So good, Arun. That's great. You're doing a great job. Anybody else do anything like this?
Hi, Pritesh. This is Mohinder.
Yeah, Mohinder.
Yeah, so Pritesh, for just adding to what Arun said, when I joined Desi Crew, right? So most of the people knew English, but when I used to chat with them, when I used to observe the chat which they were doing around the team, right? They used to use Tanglish for chatting. So even for chatting, they used to type it in Tamil, right? And use a Tanglish language for internal chatting. I am
Nice
not
word,
expecting.
Tanglish. Nice word.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they are not. I am not expecting them to talk in English, but when we are resistant to even communicate or chat in English, forget about the verbal mistakes, etc., etc. But when we don't put that effort while chatting itself, then it's very difficult to improve your communication skill. So basically, when I joined, I requested my team member, look, when I chat, I will never chat with you in Tanglish or any other language. It will be only in English. So you have to chat in English. So when I joined, when they used to chat with me, right, they would do is they will go to Google, type in Tamil, get the English translation, and they used to chat with me. So at least that pushed them to use Google frequently, find words and communicate in English. So, and also internally, I think slowly it changed. And after a few days, they also wanted to chat in English. So at least the chat communication can improve and the written communication improve. And later, I think now they have shown good improvement. But this is my observation.
So you are saying we should make English as an official communication between people, even in internal groups? Mohinder?
Exactly. No, if you want to improve the communication, it has to be done. Look, if we don't make it compulsory or we don't push them, they will never give an eye to that, and they will not know the importance of that language.
But we have English courses, Mohinder.
Yes.
One,
No, the Sarunan can provide help only for 2 hours that he is spending. But that 2 hours, nobody, that 2 hours is like a guiding force. But you have to take that force and then implement in your professional life. You don't implement it, it's just going to be one session where you go and then learn and then come forget everything. So this is my observation. That's all. Thanks, Pritesh.
Good. Anybody else? Any thoughts?
Hi, Pritesh. How are you? Hi, everybody.
How are you?
All good. So thank you. So just to exactly what Mohinder added, here also we have internally implemented as much as they need to communicate in English, because initially I also saw that meetings were conducted in between, they were speaking with their mother tongue. But now I make it it's like almost mandatory that try to at least speak in English. Like Saravanan and all the others are doing a wonderful job guiding them, giving them great inputs. But even that, only when it is implemented, practiced, and that one, it's really going to make a difference. So even when people come to talk to me, they speak to me in Tamil, but I reply them only in English. So I wait for them. So that is an encouragement. It's maybe a mindset also. Sometimes they feel that, oh, I might speak incorrectly, whether I'm going to give the correct answer. So it is just like that, encouraging them to make sure that these things are, implemented in such a way that they do it. Simple. So that way it's really, I do see that our meetings now, people are able to speak up more better. And even there's one more thing that I also have noticed is email communication. So what I've done is I've given them some, even for a leave request or some request to the IT department, there was a lot of mistakes I used to see. So now what I've done is I made some templates. So I've told them, use these templates, use these type of communications to, send out mails, send out this one. If it's not immediate effect, but I do see a lot of improvement with it. So that's one thing which we are also trying to do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So my quick question, Nelson, is these are people who are in Desi crew.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have a basic literacy level, definitely, and that's where they are. But what about going for more than this? What would be your thoughts on that? Because they are already there. You know what these capabilities are. So what you're trying to do is only improvise on something which is there. It also comes back to Manisha's question. These are skill sets that was already there. But what if we had basic, if you have to implement this on a higher extent, what would be your thoughts?
Definitely, we're looking at associating with all these college students. We have certain programs. So that is one of the agendas. Basically, this, just like Manisha said, definitely we had in thought, we have forgotten. Now, in fact, I was a few days back talking to our HR team, madam, we have to get the DC charter going on. Some of the CSR activities, getting to students, at least bringing them once in a while, giving them this corporate culture training, communication training. That has definitely been looked into it. It is just how we are going to take it forward, and it will be taken forward, Pritesh. That's what, from my side, I'm trying to look into those.
One less problem for leadership team from a DC 15 initiative. So somebody saying who will take the initiative of getting the DC charter live again. Okay, fantastic. Good.
Definitely. It's a teamwork, and of course, everywhere small things, each brick makes up a building. So somebody is doing that. So it's just how we are putting it together. Simple. So we're definitely looking into that, Pritesh.
Sure. Okay. Anybody else? A lot of people have been silent. If everybody in this group speaks, I would say that literacy thing that we're talking about will make sense. I've got a lot of people: Balaji, Baby, Kaushika, Nelson spoke, Nidhi. A lot of people are silent. So let's do that. Why don't these people speak up, please, one by one? Just take that opportunity to speak. Baby, Balaji.
Hi, sir.
Anybody, come on, speak up, guys.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Actually, I'm Balaji, sir. I'm just 1 month before I joined this basic group, exactly in QA and cloud. I'm working intern in QA and cloud.
Okay.
My training is going on. I think it's a really good experience. After complete my graduation, within 15 days I get opening in this basic group. I am really happy to join this organization. That's all, sir.
Okay. So what education did you do, Balaji?
BSc Computer Science, sir.
I see. Okay. Okay.
So after
Anybody? Anything on your literacy? Anybody? Anything you guys would like to know? Or?
Yeah, Pritesh, I have a question. Can I ask Arun?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, getting literacy is one part. Becoming a literate is becoming one part. How do I implement it when we come into a office environment?
Sorry, Arun. I'm for some reason I'm not able to hear you clearly, Arun.
Okay, see, I'll repeat the question. Getting literate, like getting education is one part, right? As a student. Now, how do I implement it? Like any newcomer, how do they implement what they have learned in an office environment? So they transform basically.
Trying to understand this question a little better, so that.
Okay, you studied chartered accountant, right? So you started working. So education-wise, you finished your chartered accountant. When you came to work, how did you adapt yourself? Tips for newcomers.
Okay. When okay. So I don't know. Let me put it differently. I mean, yes, I became. See, I crossed the basic literacy level. I had done basic education and all that, so I was able to become a chartered accountant. And you're saying after I became a chartered accountant, how I use the skill sets in the organization, if that is the question, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, okay. It's like, when you're doing a chartered accountant, there's a lot of exams that you write, there are a lot of things. You keep talking to a lot of peer group, and then you develop a lot of sense of confidence in terms of how you talk or you work or you approach a problem, and it becomes kind of a second nature as you start you're going through the same thinking process, and when you're joining an organization, because other people are also of the same peer group, communicating with them in the same language becomes easier. Saying that at Accountify, when we started, it was only a couple of people. At a different kind of a mindset or thought processes. So when you're communicating, you always want to make sure that you understand what the needs of the other person are. As a listener, what do they want, or what could be the problems that they could face when you're communicating on a higher pitch or things like that. So making sure you speak in a language which is easier to understand, or communicating in a manner which is easier to communicate with other people as such. That's how you try to adapt based on your whatever the other person you're talking to, and that's how you work with the organization as such, is my thought. Arun, I'm not sure if I answered your question, but I tried my best.
Yeah, Pritesh. Just wanted to see why I asked this question is when people are from college, like they're studying, they talk with each other very fluently, like very happily. Without any hesitation, but once they are into a office zone, their communication stops. Like, should I ask this? Should I not ask this? What should I ask?
Okay. From college to organization, because one, either they don't know much about the job, or they are learning at that point of time. So that till they become confident or they understand, in a unorganized or in a social circle where your friends, you don't have any limitations of what you talk and how you talk. So when you come here, there is a hierarchy. There are people above you or below you, and you're trying to grasp the job. You're trying to understand what is happening on a regular basis as such. So till that thing is not sorted, maybe the confidence level will low. At that point of time, what people like Arun or others can do is understand why these people are silent, or they're not able to communicate, or they're not able to understand. It could be because of fear. It could be because that they're not being confident about it, or the fear that if I ask some stupid question, I'll be shouted about. So if you can take about all those myths away for an organization as such, and create a sense of oneness, that will be very helpful.
Sure, Pritesh. Sure. Thank you for the answer. Thank you.
Good. I think I am done. If anybody has anything, if not, Srilika or anybody else can take over also.
Sir, I will just see, sir, if there is any question.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Is there any question from anybody? Okay, I think there is no question, Pritesh, sir. Sir, the question is not related to the literacy from my side. I'm going to ask you a very general question about the summit. We have, team has launched the dashboard on Accountify, right? So we've been promoting like Accountify. Pritesh, head is there on the DC Live. So very shortly, Crispy, can you tell something about the Accountify, because many listeners are listening from all the centers, so they'll get a view like there is an Accountify which is active on Chennai Lake. So I want you to share something about it, sir. At the end of the
Accountify is nothing but automating the accounting process as such. We would, there's a lot of work in automation or accounting is repetitive in nature. There are a lot of things that can be done manually, but with a lot of bots, a lot of automation that is coming into play, or robotic process coming into play, these manual processes can be done by a human effort. That is done can be done by other people as such, like a bot. We can create bots based on in particular invoice or things like that. And what will that do is anything that is done by human will have errors because you're trying to copy paste, cut, copy, or download anything. But with the bots, what it does is it replicates the human effort and it creates the same task without any errors, or it can do faster and things like that. And that's why the automation is coming into play. And that's the milestone of Accountify, or that's why Accountify has been started on those lines. We serve a lot of clients in the US and UK market. We are also targeting a lot of clients in the Indian market at this point of time. But prima facie, the UK and the US market is our crux and idea. And there is a website called www.accountify.co. Please go to the website. We've created a lot of bots, and we have created a lot of videos which makes you understand how the bots work. They are very much self-explanatory in nature. Please go through that and see if it is making sense, or if you have any ideas, or if you would like to join my team, or if you have anything like that, I'll be more than happy to consider that.
So to join Pritesh Singh, we have a course in DTouch also. So complete the bot 301. So the moment you complete it, Pritesh will be very eagerly to waiting.
Absolutely. The 1,000 people, I want minimum 100 people who have completed or 10 people minimum completed, and you can join my team right away.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pritesh sir. So Bhavya, over to you. I think we have come to an end of the show, sir. Thank you so much. Bhavya, please.
Yes, so coming to the end of the segment, so first of all, thank you so much, Pritesh sir, for your valuable time and words. We've learned, understood, clarified our doubts regarding literacy and also in the field of accounting, like accountancy. So we all had a great time with you, sir. Also, we are still looking forward to learn many knowledge and guidance from you in this DesiCrew journey. Thank you for joining us, and also a personal thanks from my side for giving me study tips. Soon we'll welcome you in some other special occasion to join us, sir. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Fantastic. Thank you all. Thank you. It was great. I hope we learned something from each other, and we'll continue the same journey. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Manivannan sir. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you all. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think, Bhavya, it was a wonderful show. So unexpected question we got from everybody. So many leaders, many TLs, and many people asked some questions. So it was a great time. So DJ, we can play one good song and we can move on to the next show. It's the Onam celebration. So within 3-4 seconds, we're going to start our Onam celebrations. So just play one beautiful song and come back and we'll continue the show. DC Live, we care, we share, and we are on. Stay tuned to DC Live.